Can we just go home if it's below 0?
No.
Shouldn't that be a general rule? It's so stinking cold. I'm sick of the cold, people. I know, it's New York, middle of winter, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, let's get into a Chevy. And he writes, oh, come on, Chevy, you can start. Maybe she doesn't want to start. I don't really want to give it gas because it's so cold, but we're gonna. Come on, baby. You know you love me? Oh, I hate doing that. Sorry, folks. Just plug your ears if you don't like that sound. Oil light comes on periodically, all over the place. Typical Chevy. Boy, she's running like poo-poo. Do an inspection, alternator gauge dips down below 14, normal. Check out pressure sensor that is on, also fix that. Oh, the tire pressure light. Also price tires for it, also check alignment on it. Oh, also check the engine light. Good, so they made an appointment for the engine light. Left the list a mile long, so we'll check everything over there. Let's get her in first before it stalls. It's barely running. I'm gonna try to take my foot off the accelerator here. All right, she's idling somewhat. Let's see if we can't get her in before it dies. Oh, it's a little cold out today. Maybe I didn't mention that. It's been cold for like freaking ever. Uh-oh. Now we got some kind of dinger going off. I think it means we have no oil pressure. Something, I don't know. Ugh. So it sounds like we've got a classic case of your PO521, your Chevy oil pressure sensor switch there that fails. Can't see inside here, hopefully nothing's in here. All right, now we're in where it's warm. You're gonna have to deal with the incredibly loud furnace on YouTube. Not loud in real life, but you'll have to deal with it. Let's see, it's showing a code 175 and 172 says, please take care of that. Thanks a lot, love always, yada yada. So, just beating down his list. The oil light that comes on, I bet we're gonna find a code, I think it's a 521 these Chevy said. The oil pressure switches go bad on them, super duper common. The alternator that dips down between 10 and 14 on the gauge is also pretty common. These Chevys use a smart charge type system. So once the battery is fully charged, let's say it's been running for a while, it doesn't demand, you know, a full 14.2 volts all the time. It'll cut it back to 12.6 to reduce emissions. So I think it was such a problem when GM came out with that system. They actually came out with a service bulletin because so many people were going back to the dealership and saying, hey, you know, my alternator's not working, it's sitting at 12, you know, so there's that. And then I think they go into a high charge mode where they're like 15.1 or something. So that doesn't surprise me. I haven't seen that complaint in a while, but it doesn't surprise me. Inspection, tire pressure sensor, give him a price on tires. He wants the factory tires, not these big jabronis, he says. I want the tires on it that it calls for, not these big old wide jabronis. Would like an all season, call me for prices, the alignment. So anyhow, we're gonna check out the engine light first, see what's going on with that. We're gonna warm up our patties, and we're gonna get in it and get after it. Let's see, she's done scanning. Let's see what the survey says. We got 4 codes in the engine control module. Rich, engine oil pressure sensor, and EVAP vent system performance, classic. And they're all current, so must be didn't know about this one or that one. So like I said, the 521 doesn't surprise me. Super duper common. And then these rich codes, it's probably a flexi fuel. Don't these have the issue with the flex fuel and alcohol counters off and so on and so forth? Somebody stuck a brand new alternator. Hopefully didn't put the alternator on it in an effort to combat the fluctuating gauge. Let's see, do we not have oh yeah, freeze frame? Looking for it. They should put a big button that says freeze frame. So let's see where our fuel trims were at the event. Long term, minus 29 and minus 28. That's really bad, fella. So let's just poke through. I don't know if these ones have alcohol reset here, fuel composition reset. Let's look at that, and let's see if it tells us what the alcohol level is first. 80% it thinks. Holy smokes, that's too high if you blow a .80. So let's fix that real quick. There we go, we're back to 3. So he should be fixed now. Let's throw a pipe on the exhaust and start it up, see if we fix the rich problem. And then the other problem is the damn door doesn't open now. Friggin' doors froze shut or something because it wouldn't stay shut. So like a fool, I pushed the door lock down to see if the door would stay shut then, and then it does. But now the goddamn friggin' door doesn't open. Gosh, I hate trucks. I don't really hate trucks. I just hate it when my day doesn't go right. And it's Monday. So how do we know if we fixed it is we're going to go into fuel trim. I'm surprised it didn't start a little better. Oh, okay. It must erase all the fuel trims when we clear the alcohol counter, because that's how it calculates it. Big dummy. Anyhow, we're going to be looking at long-term and short-term fuel trims. And we're going to pull up some other stuff here. What else do we want to pull up? There's our alcohol content. Close enough. Alright, let's fire it up. It should start a little bit better than it did outside, I'll tell you that much. Hooray! It starts better. And we gotta wait for this to hit closed loop, and then we'll see where our fuel trims settle out here. So she just hit closed loop, still pretty cold. I see our short term is already about minus 10-ish. I don't know how long this thing's been running rich. It might need an oil change, because it might be real stinky. Let's see if she got the stinky stink, which can make a huge difference. Oh, she's black. Let me smell it. What the hell am I doing? I can't smell a thing. Stupid fool. Ever since I got the Rona, I can't smell. But I did get oil on my nose. Gosh. We're going to have to go get the lovely Mrs. O. I don't know. She's starting to settle down better there. Even sitting idle. So plus or minus 10 kind of general rule. We probably should have looked at it before, but kind of had a hunch what was going on anyways. So, okay, no big deal. We'll have to take it for a shake, make sure everything's cool, because this is just sitting in one fuel trim cell, cell 14, whatever that means. What's up, old girl?
I'll be outside for a minute.
What are you doing?
Well, your kid took care of the garbage Friday.
Yep.
And it's not in the dumpster.
Oh, yeah?
It's on the road.
Are you going to hit him?
Are you?
If you want me to.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
All right. Well, now I feel guilty. I should go help you. I'll go help you. Here I'm going. Let's go. Here, let me shut the camera off. Ready? I'm going to help you. All right. So I'm pretty happy with that, folks. That should repair his issue here. So let's shut her off. Hallelujah. Don't hate trucks no more. Code 175, 172 fixed. Alternator gauge. I printed him out. They still have a service bulletin on this one. I couldn't believe it. In 2012, they still got it. Information on the voltmeter gauge fluctuation due to regulated voltage control systems. Blah, blah, blah. It gives here your customers complain. Same complaint he has. Where did he complain about it? Not that he's complaining, just around 10 to 14. Sometimes lower, but always seems to charge. And then they basically explain it here that it fluctuates between 12 and 14 with the regulated voltage control system. When it's in fuel economy mode, it can dip down as low as 12.6. So, and not to worry, like I say, we'll warm it up and double check it, but like I say, this is a super common complaint on these Chevys. I'll give him a copy of this. So check, the oil light coming on, check. Napa's on their way up with a oil pressure switch for it. Super common. I've done other videos on these, so I'm not going to record that for you. Inspection, fail. Automatically fails. It's got tinted windows, so he'll have to take it somewhere else for that. Tire pressure sensor. Let's go see what that needs. And then this one here, check. We did that. Alignment, my boy Josh is gonna have to do it. It originally only had the appointment for this down here. That was what the appointment was for. So this is super common when this happens, folks. If you're going to a shop, not throwing stones at this guy, but if you're going through a shop and you make an appointment for an engine light, please don't do all of this, because typically, and just like today, I don't have time for all of this. I schedule it for about a 1 hour slot to fix the engine light, and then now I've got to free up an alignment rack and go through and do everything else. But anyhow, let's keep cranking. Keep that in mind though. Let's see, we're gonna fire this little guy up. We're gonna go into the TPMS. I don't remember which model Altel this is. It's the ITS, it's 600. And then we're gonna go through and pick Chevy, not Alfa Romero. I don't even know what that is. So I'm gonna go through and ID the truck. And then we're gonna go see which sensor's not working here. So we can do the whole deal. Not that one. I get so click happy. It might actually been the right one, because we're looking for a 2012. So 315 snapping. They're all 315. What's it matter? Why do we have all these options? 9 to 9, 11 to 12. Let's see if they're 433 or 315. So let's pick a 315 megahertz. Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you something. Happy Valentine's Day, old girl.
There you go. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, thanks. They're on the old toolbox. So we're gonna trigger one of these bad boys and see if it's. Of course, we could have picked. Nope, the right one. Okay, so that one's not dead. Okay, so let's go start over for real. Trigger. We got to see which one's the dead one. Sometimes if you're wondering, are they 433 or 315 megahertz, and you start on the dead one, like this one here is probably dead, then you just don't know. So let's go through and see who's dead and who's not dead. This one appears to be dead. No, it actually worked. It took a while, but it worked. So we'll see. It took like a long time. 19 degrees, so they're warming up a little. So we'll see if this one takes forever. I think that one tire up front's balder than ball. Smooth. So this is kind of odd. Both the rears say that they're a duplicate sensor, which they would have to be a duplicate of one of the fronts. How in the thunder can that be? Well, I'll tell you how that can be. So, for example, like here with the Altel, I can copy the ID of any sensor that I trigger. Let's say I trigger this one. Let's say it's a ding dong and I snap this one off. I copy the ID, or I collect the ID with the Altel. I'm like, beep boop beep boop boop, got the ID, and then I hit duplicate, and then it makes me a new sensor. So I'm curious if perhaps at some point one of those sensors has gone bad. Somebody collected the ID information off it and made a couple duplicates. The only way to tell is to break this tire down and see what kind of sensor's in it. Is this an Altel, a Schrader, a Gator, an Orange? And did somebody copy it? So that's all I can tell you, folks. What I'm gonna do, so 661477, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna clear the info out of it, and I'm gonna rescan them and see which one it's a duplicate of. So I just cleared the info, and that left rear comes up with that last three is 661. So that was a copy of one of the fronts. Now when we trigger this one, let's see if it comes up as a duplicate ID. It probably does, because you see all that black stuff around the stem. Somebody's been in there, because that's bead sealer or some crap. So somebody's already been in here, and I think they've got the ID numbers all screwed up. And then what we'll do, we'll see if this pops up duplicate ID. If it does, that's what I'm betting what happened. I bet somebody didn't know how to use their tool, didn't know how to make a unique ID, and then just programmed it with whatever. Yeah, you see how that says duplicate? So let's go like this, and let's see if this is true. Let's back out. We're gonna hit OK. We're gonna erase the data. We're gonna go back to the right rear here, and then we're gonna trigger it, which it'll probably trigger quite quickly. I'm assuming. And it is, and you see the ID number, 661. So this right rear has the same ID as the left rear, which has, I don't remember which one up here had the 661 ID. So we're on the right front. Let's trigger this one. Okay, so the right front, so they're all copies of this one here on the left front, which, let's spin the wheel around town. Yeah. The sucky part is, we don't know which of the 3 tires has programmable sensors in it. So let's say one of these is an OEM and 2 of them are aftermarket. Now we don't know who's who, because we can't rewrite the ID on an OEM sensor, but we can rewrite the IDs on aftermarket sensors, if that makes sense. So this gets a little tricky. We might have to break down 3 tires to find out what's what, but he also wanted a quote on tires, so maybe we'll save that for that time. Unless we go look at the back tire there, and if the back tire has black schmoo all over, yeah, see, so it's a duplicate. The tires are junk anyways. You know, these front tires are pretty well had. Let's see, is there black schmoo on this one? There is not. Son of a hoo-hoo. We got to take a guess. We got to gamble. Sometimes you can figure it out like this. Let's see, who's got the shiniest valve core? Well, that one's pretty shiny. That one we know has got black schmoo on it. Is this one shiny? Oh, see, now she's all corroded. She's a little bit darker. So have a look at that. We're going to use our context clues. Now, that could be because I had the wrong valve stem cap on it too. Could have had your classic short valve stem cap instead of the appropriate one here. All right, so a little bit crusty, or a little bit oxidized. Bright and shiny. And that's got a square shoulder too, so a little different shoulder design. Oh, we gotta get motored, folks. This has got freaking black goo all over it. That's got the square shoulder. And what we got up here, folks, I'm thinking the 2 rears are probably this one has a tapered shoulder, so that's probably an OEM sensor. But this is not the one we're having problems with. Let's take a gamble. Let's peel the one wheel off the back, see what kind of sensor's in it. Let's see, we broke her down. What is that here? Replacement. I don't know what the heck this thing is. Got a lot of junk inside the wheel here, though. Somebody, instead of cleaning the bead on it, they just goop up all this black crap. I do not recognize this brand. Oh, I think it's a Schrader. Let's get my readers. Yeah, Schrader.com. It says SchraderSomething.com. It's too bad, man. This thing is so corroded. So that's why they got all the black, gobbly, goopy crap on it. Yeah, they're trying to seal up a bead leak instead of fixing the actual problem. We just smear black stuff all over it. Awesome. That does not look like one of the programmable Schraders. I wonder if that's an OEM. That has a model number on it, because the new Schraders are really tiny. I don't know, 315 megahertz, and I can't read the model number. What I would do in this case, I would just program them a couple unique IDs for the back tube and stick it in it, and that's going to fix the issue here. So I don't know how he would have got all these duplicate IDs, but obviously that's its problem, lady. So we're going to go to programming, and then we want to auto create an ID. We're going to have to move this sensor over here. You got to keep it 4 feet away, otherwise it detects it. And then it's going to auto create a new ID for us. Now it detects one sensor, correct? And then it's going to program that sensor. And then we're going to auto create another one. So that way there we don't get all these mismatched IDs. But at some point somebody did some wonky stuff there, and copied the sensor right here 3 times. Or at least twice. Okay, so that one's got a unique ID. So we walk this one over, we set that one down, we pick up this one. We come back here, and then we come down here, and then we just auto create this one. We wait for it to detect it. So this is a great little tool. The TS508 Wi-Fi is also a great tool from Altel. I have that one also. That one works great. This one's pretty cool. Has an OBD2 dongle. You can do some other stuff with it, but works pretty good. So that's programming that one. And now everybody's going to have a unique ID. We're all unique in our own little ways. So there's that. Now we have 2 unique sensors. I'm going to peel that other back wheel off. We're going to take that over. We're going to pop the sensors in it, go around and beep, boop, 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 program them all. Let's see if the old Jimmy's happy with us now. So we're going to trigger the left front. We should be golden now, hopefully. Oh yeah, that's a pisser. This left front's not reading right now. I'm trying to do it one more time. I know it was really, really slow the first time we did it. It took a long time for it to read it, which is usually an indicator of the battery status. Ugh. Fail. Dang it all to heck. Might have to do a third one now. At that point, you just do them all. Let's see if this right front one's working. Yeah, that one's working. Of course, these 2 better work. They're the 2 we just put in. Well, that's some crap. The one that was a duplicate is now not functioning. Awesome. Well, I just tried it for a third time. Still no beans. That's a bummer. So I'm gonna pop a new one in that one. Okay, folks, round 2. 3 out of 4 sensors ain't bad, right? So now this left front should work, and it does. I still got to go through and straighten out the tire pressures and stuff. You got to go 10 plies on this thing. So we're going to go through, we're going to copy all of the IDs. They should all now be unique in nature. Never trust the battery status over here where it says OK, just for the record. So then we're going to go to relearn, and then we want to do an OBD2 relearn, because I already plugged in the dongle up inside the truck. And then this way here we don't have to put it in relearn mode and go through and this and that. So this will only take a minute here. It should. Sometimes it starts blowing the horn on these Chevys. I think it's on the newer ones when it's doing the OBD2 relearn. OBD2 relearn, okay, it says. Okay, we're a couple okay guys, you and I. Now let's come around here. A little tight over here. Is our light out now? Negative. Let's start it up. And she should be out now. Or we might have to go through and trigger it. Nope. So she's out. We just got to finish dealing with the money light. I don't want it to warm up too much. So shut that off. Let's finish up with that, folks. So again, for you guys that are working in the shop and thinking about a TPMS tool, the Altel, the ITS 600, I think, is that what we called it? It's something. ITS 600. Great little tool. I don't know if I would want it in a shop that I had a bunch of ding-dongs working at. If you know what I mean. It's a little more fragile than the other one that I'll show you, which is also a great tool. So this thing's awesome. Has a lot of other options on it. Now, if you're looking to just do TPMS, is it that one? I don't know. Let's look in this case. The 508 or 608, I think it is. Nope, wrong one. That's our battery testing tool. Must be maybe this case right here. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, that's got to be it. So this 508 Wi-Fi, I think it is. Yes. So this TS508WF Wi-Fi. This one's great because you don't need to use the Altel manager on your desktop to update it, because it does it through Wi-Fi. It does TPMS systems. It does your key fobs. It works just like this one does as far as programming and reading and everything. It does OBD2 relearns via the cable, which is a little less convenient. These things are super cheap. Typically you buy 20 sensors and you get the tool for free, you know, maybe $400 or $500. If you're looking for one in the shop that's a rock solid tool, this one gets my approval. The ITS 600 gets my approval too, but this one's more like dummy proof, if you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that shop guys are dummies, but I've seen some clowns in some other shops, and perhaps that one, the more rugged design, is probably better. Let's see, check out the tire pressure sensor is also on. Fix that, he says. Check, that one's fixed. The other thing we need to fix, he wants the engine light fixed. We fixed those two codes, but remember, I forgot. So the 172, the 175 we fixed with the alcohol reset, 521. We got your parts here from NAPR. Like I said, I've done a video on these before. You got your sensor, you got your gasket, you got your screen. Piece of cake. Now we need to move on real quick like a little bunny because we're running out of time. Way behind. This 446 vent system performance. Let me put my cap on my Sharpie. You guys are gonna have vertigo before this video is over. Let's just look at some live data real quick. And we want to look at evaporative emissions. We want to see where our fuel tank pressure sensor is at. Currently it's venting. We're not purging anything. We got 43% fuel level. We don't want that. Fuel pressure. Bada bing, bada boom. So there's your problem, lady. Okay, so we know what the problem is with that now. 2.61 volts saying that it is under vacuum right now of negative 9.72 millimeters of mercury. So if we were working on a Ford, we'd be like, hey, we're in good shape for the shape we're in. On a Chevrolet, 1.5 volts is good. Now I doubt this thing is under vacuum, but to be sure, we're gonna come over here. We're gonna take the cap off, the E85 cap. We're gonna put it back on. I didn't hear it go. So we know it's not under vacuum. Then we're gonna come back over here, have a little look-see. 2.59. So 99% of the time, every time, it's the fuel tank pressure sensor. Why does this give us a canister vent code, you ask? Did somebody just ask that? If you just asked that, raise your hand. So EVAP system, vent system, or EVAP, evaporative emissions, vent system performance. She's a performer, folks. So what that's saying, it's like, it's giving this fuel tank sucky through the purge solenoid. And it sees this and says, hey, whoa, hey, we're in a vacuum, but I've got it venting. We should be at atmospheric pressure, but we're not. So that says, hey, she's not performing. She's not a performer. We throw the code for performance because the only thing it can assume is that this vent is not functioning as it should, if that makes sense to you. So the sucking comes from the purge solenoid. Tries right here, the purge, wherever that's at, right here, the purge. That normally would put a vacuum in the tank. The vent will open and close depending on what part of the EVAP testing it's in. So typically it's open to the atmosphere. But when it's open, it's expecting to see this at 0, and it doesn't. So it can only assume that it's plugged. So the problem is with the fuel tank pressure sensor and or the wiring, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if we can reach it and just unplug it, make sure it goes to 5 volts. You'll see, Mrs. O, we need batteries. We're out of batteries. What's up, Mrs. O? You have some batteries for our wrench?
What does it take?
I don't know. You want to open her up? And spin that for me? You're pretty much a technician. Whee! Oh, they're not crusty, are they?
No.
Okay. You got any of them? So it's a pain in the neck to get above that gas tank without pulling the drive shaft. So what I'm going to do, I've got to go through and torque the wheels on before I forget that. Nobody likes their wheels flying off when they leave a shop. Trust me. Hi, Luna. Come here, pumpkin. No, she's not allowed up here. So what I'm going to do is I ordered a fuel tank pressure sensor because once I pull the shaft and stuff and can get to the top of the tank, if that's what it is, I just want a new one to put in it and to fix it. So that's the plan. While we're waiting for the parts store, I'm going to go through and change the oil pressure switch sensor. Which way were these, old girl?
I don't know, you just dumped them into my hand.
We'll say plus down. I'm going to change that oil pressure switch. Now I've got another video on that, and I also have videos on the fuel tank pressure sensor diagnosis, a little more in depth, and replacing it. So you can go ahead and check those out. All right, here we go. The parts have been changed. So pressure switch screen, like I say, I've done videos on those. Fuel tank pressure sensor, I've done videos on these. So I didn't want to have too much repeatability. Let's see, key on, engine off. Let's see where we're at over here. We're closer to where we should be, so the 1.35 volts. We're close to atmospheric pressure. Now, ideally, 1.5 is perfect. You're gonna be somewhere between 1.3 and 1.6. So now, what we need to do, figure out where we left off here, folks. What we need to do is check, now that we have a functioning fuel tank pressure sensor, is we need to see, does the rest of the EVAP system work? Hopefully it does. So that is probably gonna be under active test. We want to do a purge and seal, and we want to see, does the purge valve work, does the vent valve work. Quick and dirty, what we can do, because she's warming up in here, let's go to the vent solenoid, and we're going to close that off. So it's venting right now. It should go to not venting. It still says venting. It's not changing status. That's awesome. It's handy. And typically what we would be looking for is an increase in fuel tank pressure voltage and pressure. So let's see, did it change to not venting? Maybe this pit isn't working right. Never trust your scan tool. Rule number 1. Bless you.
Sorry.
And what I'd like to see is, I'd like to see our pressure increasing, but we don't know if the canister vent valve is actually closing. Pretty sure I left the key on. Oh man, almost tripped. I'll be tripping. I did not leave the key on, therefore that is why it's not functioning. Because I'm a ding dong. I'm a ding dong, right? That's one big ding dong, isn't that what you always tell me? Okay, let's see. Hey, now it says not venting, because I'm a ding dong. And let's see if we have a steady increase in pressure, and you can see that we do. So what's that tell us? So this is what we're doing, is natural vacuum leak detection. It's like leaving a gas can out in the hot sun. What happens when you leave a gas can out in the hot sun, Miss O? Puff right up. What happens when you leave it in the cold? There you go. So there's your EVAP test. So this tells me that the canister vent valve is closing. It's warm in the shop. The fuel is volatile and it's expanding. And now when I open the vent valve, it should go to atmospheric pressure. Ta-da! And it does. So the only thing we have left, that tells us that the purge valve is tight, like a tiger. The canister vent valve is tight. The gas cap is tight. And this thing's sealed up. However, we need to find out, does the purge work? Because it's a Chevy. And typically they don't work. We reach in there and fire it up for us there, young lady. And then what we're gonna do is the purge solenoid is gonna give some sucky. It should draw the tank into a vacuum. And then we're gonna seal it off. Okay, so right now, we're gonna bump her up. And you can see it's drawing the tank into a vacuum. And now we're gonna seal it off, and we should maintain that vacuum for a little while. It shouldn't decay quickly, but we already know the system is sealed, so we're happy with it. Right now, the commanded state is 0% purge, no sucky. The back door is closed, she's blocked off, and it should be holding vacuum with a small amount of decay. And it is, so we're happy. Shut her down, old girl.
Key on or off?
Key on, please. So meow, we can go through. We fix the rich bank 1, we fix the rich bank 2, we fix the engine oil pressure sensor, and we fix the EVAP, we hit clear codes. And we say adios, muchacho. So now we're good, everybody's happy. Codes are fixed. Gave it a glance over for inspection. Obviously not going to pass with the tinted windows. The frame's also broken. Why did that not clear me codes? Yes, I want to clear codes. So, the not yet run by these two. What? The key's on, right, young lady?
I think so.
She thinks so. It wasn't on. Now you're the ding dong. See, this is what happens. This is the hired help I get around this place.
Hired.
Yeah. You get paid. Get paid.
I gotta run home.
Okay. Hold on a minute. I'll give you a smoochy woochie. Do. So the front end is tight. Looks like somebody's done the ball joints. They've done the tie rods. They've done the upper control arms. I assume they would have done an alignment, but I'm gonna have my boy Josh check it out once his lift's freed up today. I mean, you know, obviously somebody's been in there, so that's good. The cams will move. We gotta check this control arm. I see that's an OG ball joints, aftermarket outer tie rod. So we've got to jack this up, take the tension off it. Ball joints are probably wasted on this side. Typically Chevys all need ball joints, but more importantly, like I say, the frame is cracked from there all the way up and around. It's going all the way. So these Chevys always rot the frames out. The frames are always rotted in half back here, so we always fail them for inspection. And if it's the 3/4 ton that has a cross member that bolts there, oh, she sounds pretty thin over here too. Oh yeah, she is. She's all rotted out there too. So let me show you. We'll get the Judge. I'll show you. Super common. Usually these trucks are only good for about 7 or 8 years in New York. The Judge. These trucks rot out faster than you can replace them. Yeah, so that frame's junk there. And then again, over here, so yeah. She's a see-through edition. That's what the Chevy Silverado SE stands for, see-through edition. Other than that, inspection-wise, other than the fact that it needs a new frame, she'll pass just fine probably. What we'll do with the tinted windows and stuff, we'll send them down to the other shop, and they'll take great care of them. All right, folks, so that's that. We've done beat down his list. Everything is hunky-dory, except for what's not. Like I say, I'm gonna quote him on his tires that he wanted quoted on, and have Josh, my guy, do the alignment for him, get the front end line back up. And then, like I say, with the tinted windows and the broken frame, he's gonna have to go to the other shop. We know lots of places around here that do lick'em stick'ems. Don't even look at the vehicle as long as the engine light's out. So, of course, I don't do that here because it's nonsense. So we'll send them there. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send you down there into that comment section. The questions, the comments, the concerns. While you're down there, subscribe, ring the bell, and look at the things that pop up on the screen. I'll show you the other videos I have. We're doing oil pressure sensors, doing fuel tank pressure sensors, doing lots and lots of Chevrolet EVAP systems. They're very failure prone. And I've probably covered every bit of a Chevy EVAP system on previous videos, so try not to repeat. Anyhow, you guys have a good day. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.